Let's be honest, it's been a long time coming, but Royal Enfield has finally launched its brand new Classic 350. Now, the first generation Classic 350 was Royal Enfield's best-selling motorcycle. It actually sold over 3 million units globally. Now, what made this motorcycle very successful is its vintage retro design and of course its signature thump exhaust. Now, if you look at this new motorcycle in terms of styling, it may look more of an evolution, but not a single component has been retained from the first generation motorcycle. This just shows how important this motorcycle is for Royal Enfield, as they want to make this as the benchmark in its segment globally. So let's find out what this motorcycle is all about and see if Royal Enfield has managed to balance the retro looks with modern riding dynamism. So the reason why the Classic 350 was an iconic figure is because of its design. And another reason why the design also attracted a lot of non-Royal Enfield fans. So the new version actually comes with 5 different ranges, which is the first that's ever happened, and comes with 11 paint features. Now the one we have with us is the chrome. It's top of the line. As you can see, it has a lot of chrome, and that red paint beautifully combines together and complements it. It kind of reminds us of the Machismo, if you remember in the olden days. It was a wonderful looking bike, and this too also continues with that legacy. Now if you come to the design aspect, it retains that same round, simple looking headlamp. It comes with these traditional pilot lamps. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with this setup, but we wish it had come with LEDs. Now the important upgrades. It comes with brand new chunkier looking front forks. These are 41 mm. They are bigger than the previous versions. It also has updated the brakes. The front disc is now 300 mm, while the rear is 270 mm. Again, these are bigger brakes. The tires are now wider. They also provide better stability, and when you ride in the monsoon, expect better grip. So now coming to the instrument cluster, it again retains that traditional Royal Enfield setup. It has that analog speedometer, but now it comes with an LCD multi-functional reader. Now what does it read out? It reads your trip meters, your odometer. It also has a clock, and it indicates if you're on eco mode. But it's quite significant, believe it or not, it's the first time ever the Classic 350 gets a fuel gauge. Apart from that, it also now comes with this display here, and this is the turn-by-turn navigation display, which was first introduced with the Meteor 350. It's a very simple display. It's a very easy way to use it. You just sync your phone with the Royal Enfield app. The maps are based out of Google, so they're very easy to use and they're very accurate. Moving forward now, we come to the seat. The seat squab, it's wider, it's a lot more cushier. It's a slightly bit softer, but it is ideal for your city commutes or short rides. If you are into longer rides or touring, then we suggest you opt for the touring seat. That costs around over 4,600 rupees. It's an additional feature. The seat height or the saddle height is 805 mm. If you want a lower seat, that's also possible as an optional accessory. Now if you look at the rear, initially it looked a bit industrial, the older version. Now it just comes with a single simple grab rail. It looks very good, and on top of that it comes with these round head tail lamp cluster, which adds to that retro look. So if you come back and you look at the bike as a whole, it is a great package, it's a great looker, and oh yes, and the exhaust, as you can see, it's not now as big as it used to be. It's a lot more compact and proportionate to the body. And yes, we will talk about the exhaust note a bit later. So let's talk about the brand new engine. Royal Enfield calls it the J platform. It is the same engine that also powered the Meteor 350. It churns out around 20.2 bhp, that is 1.1 bhp more than the previous engine, and a healthy 27 Nm of torque. With all these specs, what it actually means in real life condition is that this new engine offers a lot more usable low end and mid range torque, and the power band is a lot more responsive, because if you have ridden the older Enfield bikes, the initial response was always a struggle, it was sluggish. But nothing like that in this motorcycle. It is crisp, it is responsive, and on top of that, when you're riding in the city, overtaking is a piece of cake. You don't have to calculate the distance and see a motorcycle or a bike or a car coming on the other side. No such thing. It is really responsive, and it is refined as well. It is smooth. A lot of people will ask, what about the typical rattle and hum, the vibrations? Well, again, it's all gone. It's hard to believe, but it's true. If you had ridden the previous version of the classic 350, if you reached 80 kilometers per hour, you could feel vibrations all over. But with this bike, you can cruise at 90-95 kilometers per hour and you will not even feel a niggle. And that's all because of the counterbalance shaft that Royal Enfield has put in place. It feels like a modern bike, it feels dynamic, and it feels extremely refined. Another thing we'd like to touch upon is the 5-speed transmission. It is very smooth, unlike the older ones where you had to, put in a lot of effort. Nothing of that sort. It is featherweight, it's butter smooth, and it is really, really an effortless riding experience. So we mentioned earlier that this motorcycle gets a brand new chassis. It's a double cradle chassis. It feels a lot more agile. It is a lot more stable on highway conditions, on high speed conditions. But the more important factor is its handling capabilities has drastically improved, because the previous generation, when you take sweeping corners, the rear would somehow twitch and it would just feel unstable. Nothing of that sort now. It stays glued to the tarmac and it takes corners, enters and exits with full confidence. So even though the weight of the bike remains same, around 195 kgs, but it's not because of the chassis, it's more because of the upgrades like the bigger front forks, the disc brakes, all these things, not because of the chassis. Now, because also the handling capabilities has improved, Royal Enfield has also tweaked the suspension setup. It's a little bit more firmer, so it also aids to your handling experience. But how does it feel when you go over potholes? Well, if you go over minor ditches, then yeah, it's fine, it is quite comfortable. But if you approach like deep potholes, we suggest you take it easy on the throttle, because you'll get that whiplash sort of an experience. It is not like the old Royal Enfield that has that soft sofa-like experience. No, it feels a lot more compact, it feels a lot more involving. Coming to the ergonomics, the classics ergonomics were always comfortable, but now you can see the foot pegs are pushed a little bit back, not because of sportiness, but because of comfort. The handles have also been changed a bit, the position. It's again a lot more comfortable. So the million-dollar question is, does this new bike retain Royal Enfield's iconic exhaust thump? Well, let's find out. So here you can find out by yourself that it sounds like an original Royal Enfield. They have made no compromises, and it certainly is that iconic thump. So the retro motorcycle is back with a bang, and Royal Enfield has ensured that its fit and finish, the paint quality, attention to detail is all world class. You don't even see those ungainly or ugly looking wires sticking out. That just shows how much of focus the company has put in to this motorcycle. Now, because of its retro looks, touring capability and simple mechanics, this is going to be another successful motorcycle, because all in all it is also an affordable bike. It starts at 1.85 lakhs ex-showroom Chennai, and this chrome version is 2.15 lakhs again ex-showroom Chennai, and currently it is the only trim that comes with the navigation system, but it will soon be available in other variants. Now, just a couple of updates which we'd like to emphasize on is that its ground clearance has increased. It is 170 mm. So again, practicality wise, it improves the bike as a whole, and it also comes with new switches. So it is a complete new motorcycle. There's absolutely no comparison to this motorcycle to its first generation, and if you're in the market to buy a retro bike, we would say go ride this bike, find out how it is, but you got to keep in mind the waiting period is around 2 to 3 months. Thank you for watching this video. Please do let us know what you think of this review, and if you can, please like and subscribe the channel.